In at number 5, the thumb drive. Also known as the nightmare virus, this creepypasta you've never heard of was written by a user named Ender Chicken Bach. While playing in a park one day with his friends, he noticed this hunched over figure wearing a troll mask sitting on a bench. The man made eye contact with the protagonist, nodded, and then set a USB down on the bench beside him before disappearing altogether. He yelled over at his friends to see if they had just saw that, but not one person did. He quickly ran over and grabbed the USB, and written on one side were the words, "Minecraft upgrade." Once home, he popped it into his computer and followed the steps in the drive's text file. Fairly simple, it was going to bestow him with everything he had always dreamt of in the game of Minecraft just by running this program. The program began scanning his computer and the Minecraft server, which he assumed was going to take a while. After leaving it for a bit and coming back to see if the upgrade had finished, he was in absolute shock. The program had not only permabanned him from Minecraft because of a suspected hack, it had also stolen all of his files and then encrypted them. When he tried to close the window, the man in the troll mask appeared on the screen stating that the only way to decrypt his data and get back his files was to send $7,000 in Bitcoin to a private address. In at number 4, Alone in the Dark. This bone-chilling story is based on a creepypasta written by an unknown user on the Minecraft fandom page. It begins, of course, with our protagonist loading up a game of Minecraft. However, once they hit play, things didn't seem normal. First, the word Mojang, which usually appears on the screen, began to glitch out, flashing between black and white text as the game loaded. He has a brief moment of relief upon seeing the Minecraft logo appear, but shortly after that, the forest that it was flying around changed to complete darkness. To make things even weirder, there was no single player option, just one word sat in its place: alone. Now starting to have a panic attack, the gamer opts for their second option on this clearly hacked version of Minecraft that said, "You are not alone." And 10 seconds after entering into the world, something started happening with the chat. Repeatedly the words "error," "null" filled the screen. He tried canceling or escaping, but nothing seemed to work. Now believing he would be stuck in this server forever, he just started to explore it. The stones were covered in this blood red texture, and no matter how many times he chopped wood, none of it would appear in his inventory. A friend of his actually somehow managed to join the game, which gave him some comfort considering not only was he alone in the game, but he was also home alone. The two ran around this hack server attempting to solve what exactly was going on when out of the dark forest this gray and blue skinned figure appeared from the void wielding a sword. In one smooth strike, the figure attacked his friend, eliminating him from the game and completely knocking him out of the server. At the same time, a loud crack of thunder with flashes of lightning soon followed in real life. And the lights in the protagonist's home went out completely, but somehow the computer remained on. With his friend now gone, his home empty with the power off, and now face to face with this crazed, mysterious entity, he truly was alone in the dark. In at number 3, A Dark Night. This story is based on a creepypasta written by a user called That Guy from the Fallen Kingdom music video. Yes, that's really his name. Nonetheless, it's a great story. Our protagonist opens up about how their wife Karen had recently divorced them and taken their 3 kids in the process. They felt their only hope for a spark of joy or happiness in this dark time was the world they had created in Minecraft, and ever since his family had left him, the protagonist had been playing non-stop for what felt like days, maybe weeks at that time. Karen always hated how much he played Minecraft and tried many times to delete it from his computer, but to no avail. Oddly enough though, he received an email from Karen with no subject line, just an attachment that read spookyprogram.exe. He clicked on the file and it downloaded immediately, and upon running the program he soon realized that it was doing something to his game of Minecraft that was running in the background of this interruption from his ex-wife. The game felt darker, kind of more twisted, and every structure that he had created was demolished. His mining stored no resources, and every person he interacted with said the same thing: bring back the kids. His jaw dropped when seeing this message. How could he bring them back if they already left? Suddenly there was a loud knock at his door, and as he approached to open it, he could hear a voice yell, "Police, open up!" Before he was able to turn the handle, they charged through the door, telling the protagonist to get down on the ground. Karen had left the kids with their father for the day to spend time with him, but when she tried to re-enter the home though, every entryway was locked and no one would pick up the phone. Now terrified for her children's well-being, she called the police and attempted to reach the protagonist through Minecraft. The kids had been hiding in their rooms, not eating for days because their father had been wrapped up in a game of Minecraft and he believed he was alone in the house. That's messed up. In at number 2, armless. Much like the majority of these stories, this creepypasta as well was written by an unknown user on the Minecraft Creepypasta fandom page. That's probably why you've never heard of them. They were pleased to find out that there was a new beta release of the Minecraft Pocket Edition, making it easier to mine on the go. They spent the majority of their time in the creative world checking out what was new with this beta update, but after a while they wanted to see what else was out there. The protagonist enters into a game of survival mode, and for the first little while they weren't doing too bad. However, they couldn't help but feel as if someone or something was watching them while they played. And while exploring the world, they came across this small tunnel, and with their curiosity already piqued, they pressed on to see what could be in there. Once they entered the dark tunnel, their phone started acting up. It would close the app and then reopen it, and without warning, the player would be in a completely different location. Now they were faced with a single doorway that appeared to be just a void or a black hole. I mean, they should have turned back, although the warning written above the door that read, "Enter if you dare," seemed far too exciting not to follow. The moment they entered, a faceless and armless Steve emerged from the darkness, attacking them in a way unlike they had ever seen before. The gamer's jaw dropped at the very sight of an armless Steve, and once losing the game of survival mode to this never before seen character, their phone sent a shock through their body. The hair on their arms were standing on end, and as much as he tried to close the game again, he couldn't move his arms. Last but not least, in our number one spot, the hacker. The following story is based on a creepypasta written by a user named ShrimpPot on the Reddit Creepypasta page. This story is told by an outside source close to the family in this scary retelling of what can go wrong while playing on an unknown Minecraft server. Timmy's parents weren't home at the time, so we decided to just play some Minecraft while they were out. It was a hot summer day and the air conditioning was broken, so they left their side door open along with the windows to air out the home. While on this mysterious Minecraft server, a random user kept using a hack to kill everyone in the game. Timmy tried to leave, but to no avail. Ultimately, he decided to just unplug the computer and start fresh. Although as soon as Minecraft reopened, he was right back where he was before, locked into this punishing server. Shortly after rejoining, he received a message from the killer that read, "You're next." Normally this kind of trash talk can be easily ignored, but what can't be ignored, however, was the photo of Timmy's home attached to the message. Suddenly he could hear the sound of heavy footsteps coming from downstairs and making their way towards him. Timmy ran into his parents' room to hide in the closet, and while sweat poured down his face, he opened his dad's gun safe and took out a loaded pistol to defend himself. He had never used a gun before, but either way, having one in his hand was sure to deter this intruder. He could make out this shadowy figure searching the room, and within moments of the intruder opening the closet door, the pistol went off, knocking him back and dropping this mysterious person to the ground. Although when he stepped out of the closet with tears rushing down his cheeks, he quickly realized that he had just shot his father. In at number 5, White Endermen. We've all heard of the Endermen, and due to their scary nature, a ton of creepypastas have been written around them. However, one that you may have never heard of is the story of the White Enderman, written by an unknown author on the Minecraft fandom page. The protagonist of the story says that while playing Minecraft, they switched over to their single-player survival world, and while searching through a stronghold, they suddenly dropped through the floor into a hidden room. They could hear the sounds of an Enderman dying nearby, and as they searched for where the sound was coming from, they came across 2 Endermen, except one was completely white with glowing green eyes. Startled by the sight of this mysterious entity, they ran in the other direction, attempting to get back to the surface. Once finally arriving at their 6x6 house, something felt a little off. The White Enderman was nowhere in sight, but they still had a sneaking suspicion that they had been followed. And upon entering the house, they saw TNT explosives covering every inch of the floor. And as soon as they turned around, there was the White Enderman staring with a blank expression, holding the trigger. The Enderman pushed the trigger, setting off the explosives, killing the protagonist character in the process. His game was then stuck on the death screen, with the only option being to delete the world that he had just created. In at number 4, the It Entity. The following creepypasta was written by yet another unknown Minecraft fandom user and begins simple enough with our protagonist attempting to livestream a video on how to professionally survive a day in Minecraft. When opening the launcher though to start recording, they were thrown off because the screen went completely black. Apologizing to his viewers that he would get this fixed immediately, he began looking for a solution. Randomly, an image of a bloody handprint appeared in the center of the black screen. Startled by this, but trying to save his viewers from leaving, he joked that this was all him and to keep watching. The handprint disappears and a single message appears on the screen that reads, "It is here. Sincerely, Notch. P.S. Sign off immediately." Now convincing himself that someone was just messing around with him, he scoffed at the message and continued on. The game began, but things just kept getting weirder. He could see see the avatar of a girl standing in Minecraft crying tears of blood, and as he approached, the woman looked up and the horrible sounds of someone being strangled while sobbing blared through his speakers. He closed all of the windows hoping that this would let him escape. However, moments later he received an email that just read, "You've been warned." In at number 3, my friend Todd went missing. This creepypasta is beyond scary, and I can't believe that you've never heard of it before. The protagonist begins by saying that while on YouTube one day, he was recommended a video called My Friend Todd Went Missing. This channel was mostly videos from a 14-year-old boy, with the missing Todd video being his latest entry. The video begins with a black screen, sounds of someone shuffling around, flashes of gray as the camera shakes, and loud breathing of a child. When the video is finally clear, it shows a young boy hiding in a closet with wooden walls and winter coats surrounding him. He explains while sobbing that his friend Todd had been playing Minecraft and was communicating back and forth with him about this shrine that he had found. While on the phone with him, he could hear his friend Todd say the words, "I summon you." Immediately after that, the call went dead and Todd became unreachable. He ran over to his friend's home, but he was nowhere to be found. Luckily, Todd had given his friend the location of this shrine, so trying to trace back his steps, the boy in the video does the same thing. He locates the shrine, and at exactly midnight he says the words, "I summon you." And at this moment in the video recording, you can hear heavy footsteps as his voice gets quieter. He whispers, "I don't have much time, he has arrived." The video then ends with the sight of this shadowy figure opening the closet and standing over the boy's body. Reportedly, the boy was found dead in his home with both lungs pierced. The video was removed from YouTube, but before that, multiple people had downloaded it and began questioning the game's developer. An hour later, they replied via email saying, "Don't talk about it, don't ask about it, we can't control it. The Enderman is now loose in the world, thanks to Todd." Jeez, thanks Todd. In at number 2, X. The following creepypasta was written by another unknown user and is about a terrifying interaction they had while playing Minecraft on single player. Everything was normal at first, but as soon as the day turned to night, things started getting really creepy. A mysterious character that was wearing the default Steve skin appeared in his game and began harassing him in the chat, asking him things like, "Can I stay at your house for the night?" over and over and over again, just always asking him for things. And they pleaded that they needed to stay the night because they were terrified of being out in the world at night. He reluctantly accepted the stranger's entry into the home, and before he knew it, they were both asleep. But moments later, the mysterious Steve character named X was gone. Without warning, all of these horrific images started appearing on his screen, and just as the protagonist says, "Where are these coming from?" the character X pops back into the chat saying, "Do you enjoy the view?" He begged for him to stop, but the images kept appearing on his screen. Finally, he was able to close all of the windows on his computer, only to receive an email from this X person that read, "Don't think it's over. I will turn your life into a nightmare." Man, who'd you cut in line? Someone stalking you on single player Minecraft. Last but not least, in our number 1 spot, After Death. This Minecraft creepypasta was brought to you again by some unknown user from the fandom page, but boy oh boy is it a good one. I'll also add that if you know anyone who wrote any of these stories, please comment their name down below so we can give them some credit. The story begins with the protagonist telling us that his friend had recently died suddenly, and while visiting with his friend's parents to pay his respects, he felt drawn to take one last glance at his friend's bedroom where they had played Minecraft so many times. On the desk lay the boy's smartphone, and oddly enough it was unlocked. The protagonist picked it up and saw that his friend had just been playing Minecraft. He was in some world called After Death, and he begins exploring this sinister world, taking in all of its oddities. The protagonist is startled when he sees this shadowy figure moving towards him, and the figure had what appeared to be blood dripping from his mouth. After finally escaping, he tried to communicate with anything in the game to see if he could find out what his friend had been up to, but no one in the game would respond to him, not even the animals, almost as if he was invisible to them. Before he knew it, the shadowy figure was back, and as he tried to run, this creature grabbed his character by the leg, stabbing it with a knife. He could feel the pain though in real life. This sharp, deep feeling of pain rushed into his leg, causing him to black out in his friend's bedroom. The next day he woke up in his own home, but confused as to how he got there, he ran downstairs to ask his parents, but something was wrong. His mother refused to look at him. In fact, she pretended like he wasn't even there. Frustrated by this, he saw that his brother was about to leave the house, so trying to get his attention, he quickly hid in the backseat of his car, planning on giving him a real-life jump scare when he finally reached his destination. The car came to a stop and his brother just immediately got out of the car. He sat up from the backseat floor and looked around. They were in a graveyard. He followed his brother, calling his name as he walked a few paces behind, but nothing. No response, not even a head turn. Finally, his brother stopped at a gravestone and began to mourn. The protagonist walked up slowly behind him, looked down to the tombstone, and saw that it was his name carved into the stone.
Number 10, 12. Everyone makes mistakes, huh? Well, this author did. This unknown author from the Minecraft Creepypasta wiki was playing Minecraft on a LAN world with their friends when they found some red ore, thinking it was redstone they mined it, but instead of redstone they got a red diamond called 12. They rebooted Minecraft and it was still there. They found another, and figuring that Minecraft had just added rubies and the name was a mistake, they made a sword. The sword was called 144 and one friend, Samantha, offered to be tested on. They used it, but when they did, the game crashed and static played. They found the sound file and it was named 1725. They put the file in a spectrogram, and what appeared was his IP address, zip code, legal name, and the numbers 1725, 144, and 12. Number 9, he's watching you. This is a shorter one and comes from the user The Super Alcohol on the Minecraft Creepypasta wiki. It looks to be a poem written by the author as he was being watched, and gives me all around bad vibes. The poem says, Minecraft isn't good, you will eat food and sleep. An entity will creep into your house. This was uploaded at around 8:30 AM today, and the creepypasta is labeled with the unfinished Minecraft Pocket Edition, Minecraft Windows 10, PC Minecraft, and poem tags, among a couple others. So does the author mean all Minecraft versions are bad? Who is watching us, and what is the entity that will creep into my house? Let me know your theories in the comment section below. Number 8, Vivecraft. This creepypasta is written by that bitch Karen on some Minecraft Reddit page and is about their friend's experience with playing Minecraft in virtual reality. I'm going to call the author Karen from now on. Karen says that he and his friend were playing Minecraft on a modded multiplayer server so that his friend could use his new HTC Vive. After playing for a few hours, they already had a mob grinder, a 4x4 chunk mine, and diamond equipment. Karen left, but his friend decided to stay on, since he was loving chilling out in Minecraft VR style. After Karen logged off, his friend apparently kept digging and ran into a stronghold, the kind that contains an ender portal. However, upon finding the room, the ender portal was on, but there were no eyes of ender. The friend tried to jump in, but just fell through and into the lava below. However, as he was burning and swimming out, he could feel the heat on his skin. He went to touch his arm and it was as if he was a stove. He took his armor off and jumped back in, and all his friend found was a book documenting his experience and his diamond armor. Number 7, Do You Hear Me? This is another new unfinished creepypasta that I think is creepy enough as it is. Written on the Minecraft Creepypasta wiki, The Super Alcohol has 11 days listed as if he was writing a journal. However, only day 1 is full. What's confusing to me is why are there 11 days that aren't full? Okay, maybe you want to have 11 parts of this pasta, but shouldn't you add the days as you go? Not all at once with no text? Anyway, this is what day 1 says. Once I was mining in a coal mine, and then I went into a mine shaft and saw a book. The title was Springer, and was written by someone named the admin. This is what it said. I will hunt you down and will destroy you. Never come back. The admin. Then my game glitched. And leaving it at this without having the rest of the days filled out is creepy as hell. That's some creepy crap sticks, man. Holy cow. Number 6, The Vision. This creepypasta is by Deku Desu on the Minecraft Creepypasta wiki and is supposed to be a sequel to another one that he wrote, The Red-Eyed Demon, but it stands on his own as well. After him and his friend Daniel had stayed away from technology for a while, they decided to get back into it. When they loaded into their game, they were in a cave. This cave had caused some trauma in the past, hence why they stayed away from technology. So memories came flooding back. As they ran through the cave, text appeared in chat saying, I'm coming for you both. And as they sped up, they ran into a figure standing ahead of them. They got knocked into a stone wall behind them and all the blocks broke. I'll destroy you just as you did my brother, it said to them as it charged. What happens next? Well, you'll need to read it yourself to find out, and read the predecessor for some more context, since this video is going to be too long if I go into both of them. Number 5, Suicidal Enderman. Now you may know that in Minecraft, using a certain set of commands and the correct world generation, you can spawn a suicidal enderman which will either blow itself up or make the ground drop and it will fall into the void. However, this creepypasta is from Your Lord Jesus, hey, I like that name, on another Minecraft Reddit page, and it says this is not the kind he's referring to. The author starts off in a normal single player world in peaceful mode, gathering wood and building a house before the night comes because he wanted to put it into hard mode. The sun begins setting but he isn't ready yet, so he leaves it on peaceful. However, an enderman was able to spawn. The enderman was following the player at a distance, and whenever he would go by water, the enderman would teleport into it. This is weird because endermen get hurt by water. The author eventually turned it on hard mode and the enderman immediately teleported to the player. He could hear the gurgled noises of an enderman and could make out the phrase "kill me" through the muffled static. He turned off the world and has never looked back since. Understandable. Endermen are already creepy as hell. Number 4, the hidden player. This may be another version of Herobrine or a different character altogether. The hidden player was supposedly an entity who would go into your worlds and build tiny houses then leave. The hidden player would also make houses out of bedrock. If a player were to stumble upon one of them and go inside, they would be met with a bed and sign. The sign would say the hidden player was here, but sometimes it would only say B1223. The hidden player was removed and hasn't been seen since. This may be true, but what if he's just taking a rest? Like it, he may only come out every so often. Maybe by building tiny houses, he was really trying to get the tiny house movement going. And now that it's gaining momentum, his job is done. If that's the case, the hidden player has gotten to my girlfriend. Maybe she's the hidden player. Oh crap. Number 3, the Psycho Villager. In January of this year, the user Julio Givzenak on the Minecraft Creepypasta wiki was playing on a public Minecraft server with friends. They were raiding a village, opening chests, killing villagers and burning houses, the whole nine. They killed every villager, but they still heard villager noises. They had no clue where it was coming from, so they followed the sounds. As they got closer, they found a small house with a chest. The villager was there, but he had a smile carved into his face and had a bloody iron sword in his hand. One friend ran back into the forest and his name popped up in chat saying he was killed by a zombie. He was then kicked from the game. The author and his other friend ran out of the village, but the villager was following. He stopped at the edge of the town and the players ran into the forest. They heard clown noises and found another house. They logged off and played another game. When they got back on, the forest they were in was burning down and the villager was there. He said, "I am the Psycho Villager. You are my victim." Then immediately after that, the server got shut down. A few weeks later, his friend got sick, saying he heard a voice in his head saying, "You are my victim." The author is saying this story is true, and if you don't believe him, you can try the seed 3429997653226. There we go. Number 2, Game Band. Anyone remember the Game Bands? They were really cool for like a hot minute when YouTubers like Sethwing got them. Well, apparently they did more than just let you bring Minecraft wherever you went. This author found a Game Band on Amazon for cheap and decided to buy it. When wearing it to school the next day, all of his friends were jealous and wanted to hold it and try it on. One friend tried to rip it off of his hand but instead broke it, and that caused it to get stuck on the author's hand. This caused the world to begin to fall apart around him, but he just didn't know it yet. As he left the school, the bus's wheels were square and the seats had right angles, and felt as if it was very hard to sit on. As he got home, more and more of his environment turned to blocks. Even his parents and sister had become player models. He looked in the mirror and he was his Minecraft skin. No facial expressions, but able to move his arms normally as if he was in a Minecraft animation. But one thing in his life looked the same as the day he had gotten it. The Minecraft Redstone Game Band. He tried ripping it off, but it wouldn't budge. He tried to cut it, but it was too strong. As he fought more and more to get the band off, it got tighter and tighter, eventually melting into his skin. And there he was, stuck in Minecraft forever. Number 1, Orange Steve. You may know about Green Steve or Red Steve, but Orange Steve is a whole other story. The author Who's had spawned below a witch hut in his Minecraft world. He chopped some wood and made a house. He got hungry, so he had to find an animal, but there were none. At night he decided to go to bed, but couldn't because there were no animals. But there were no monsters either, but the difficulty was hard. He left the game for reasons, but when he had come back, his screen had an orange tint. There were still no animals, however. He explored and found nothing, and suddenly he took damage. When he turned around, there was an orange block. He destroyed it, but his game crashed. He reloaded and the same thing continued. He later found 4 orange crosses together, and as he did, a message appeared on screen from someone named Orange Steve saying, "Are you scared?" He deleted the world and never looked back. Honestly, I would have done the same.